Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. What's going on with Iran, US of A, Israel? Are they bombing everyone? Yes. Airstrikes are continuing, friends. Did Tether go on and mint more billions of Tetheroonies on Tron? Was a whale accumulating a lot of Ethereum just now on these US airstrikes? All of that coming and more. But first, we're going to have a look at, obviously, the clear price action, friends. Bitcoin is now firmly in deep red monthly candle territory. It traded as low as around near 98,000 American dollars. Here is Ethereum with a cuck candle retracing pretty much half of the move out here. This is very garbage, but this is pretty much in line with what we've been expecting. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary here. This is the ETH BTC ratio. It's still hanging around here. Yeah, it's doing a bit of the red and the green stuff, which is exactly what it did back the last time you was here. You see this red and green, you know what I mean? Where it's not going to do that whole big thrust up maybe until the very end. And when is the end going to be of the cycle? We'll see, man. We'll see. Well, we're going to get an extended cycle. Sure does feel like it. I mean, every time I look at this stuff, friends, before I even crack onto this price action, I know anything can happen. We can just go straight up, but it just doesn't feel like, oh, the whole cycle's over in July next month. Right? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. So this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. This is the red dot. That's just the daily super trend. You see this? It's just super trend. And now we flipped here. But if you know, go back in the past, this is very, very common with what happens with Bitcoin on these dailies. Like, look at this. It flipped red pretty much here, and then look, it just went up only. Actually, it's funny. It flipped red around, here, it just goes up only. This one was more slow, but yeah, so we're just going to obviously wait and see how this plays out. Now, remember, friends, we've been speaking about ever since here, just don't be scared if Bitcoin did one of, here it is. Literally, here it is. So like, whoa, it's just squiggly lines, man. We didn't want that to happen, but it is what it is, okay? So now everyone's going to be like, well, no, we need to go lower. The thing has to get worse now. So that's what's always going to be. Like, you actually come out and see what we got to do is, friends, let's play some Cranky G music just for everyone out there in the back. Let's play some angel music to smooth things over. Okay, so everyone can at least remember what we're here for, and that's a bag pump. Okay, so, war and everything out here is very sad, but whatever. Okay, so this ABCD thing, is it complete? Don't know. We'll see what the technical analysis squiggly line experts say. For the rest of us, I mean, like, who cares? Is it done or not? We don't know, man. We don't know and give a shit at this point. You know what I mean? It's all our hopes and dreams. Everything's just still been going worse and worse and worse and worse. Bitcoin dominance comes and charges through the all-time high. Out here, he can see me, friends, just looking for some dopamine out here. Just need some dopamine, bro. I need some dopamine. Oh, gosh, man. It is what it is. Okay, we got more things, I guess, to watch. What I'm going to do now, let's have a look at the CME gaps, right? So Ethereum, friends, as a... Okay, but obviously, we'll see how it goes in that next weekly path. I think now is a good time. Let's have a look at the CME gap close, because Ethereum, friends, like, whatever, things are volatile right now, whatever, like 2190. But if we look at the CUC Mercantile Exchange, it hasn't opened yet. It's going to open in a few hours. It's going to open very, very shortly. I forgot exactly when it opens around this time period. But right now, so Ethereum traded almost as low as here. Okay, so right now it's going to open here, around here. All right, so remember, these gaps always fill. But then what? You might go, oh no, we fill the gap and then we go lower. So it doesn't really tell you anything. It's just usually the gaps fill. That's it. There's a gap here, but hey, there's a gap at 3,200. That's what we're making our way towards. So hopefully this is that, maybe there was like this here. Actually, I have just noticed something live while recording here for you. Some of you, I'm not sure if you're familiar with price action trading. There's, like smart money traps, liquidity traps, if you're trading intraday stuff. Maybe if you see it on YouTube, friends, they refer to ICT. I think ICT's some dude. He's just renamed existing patterns, and he's given them different names, and it's easy for people to digest so they can learn. If you're familiar with Trader Main, he trades this style as well. Basically, they're basically looking for, so what they look for stuff, they look for stuff where it's like, oh no, there's a level here. So they look for the smart money to get trapped because the smart money's trying to buy a breakout and then they go wrecked. And you know what I mean? And they're trying to get this part here. They're trying to get, you know what I mean? They're trying to just look for, they're basically trying to look at traps where a smart money person is trying to trade and get trapped themselves, okay? Now, why I'm talking about that is because live on camera while recording here for you, this right here is an actual trade entry to push up, which is wow. I'm actually noticing it right now. This is actually it because I learned about this kind of funny because I absorb all this stuff and I know all these trading things out here. So it's funny. So this is their liquidity gap, okay? This is their liquidity gap. And then what you're meant to do is you're meant to bid literally halfway, okay? You're meant to bid halfway. And I think your stop is meant to be, so this is, see, what this is candle 1, candle 2. Your stop is meant to be under candle 2, okay? So I think that's actually what it's meant to be. So you're meant to like literally, this is your entry. You're meant to bid right here. So you're going to get filled, okay? You're going to get filled. That's funny. And these things have a very high win rate, by the way. Very high win rate. And you go for 2 to 1, I think, on these. So if you're meant to risk, think about this, 2,200. So you risk around a $500 move for ETH, right? And I guess if you go up, so normally these things, they don't just go up only, right? I mean, like they go up, maybe it pings like one of your things and it goes up from there. So you're risking about 500, 1,000 up to here. Funny enough, would be the next CME gap exactly. That's crazy, man. Look at that confluence. That's wild. I love seeing this because, you know, you remove the qualitative stories, you remove all these other stuff. We don't even have any indicators. Pure price action trading. Found some confluence out here. So I guess for a price action trade, that's what they do. They bid 2,200 here, and their exit stop is 3,200. Sorry, their take profit is 3,200, and then they're exiting out here. So that's why we're talking about this asymmetric stuff in crypto investing, right? So they're going to risk -1 unit here, and then hopefully they get the +2 if this thing hits. So yay, but you're probably wondering like, hey, that's not exciting, Sammy. Why don't they go for the 5x or the 10x? Yeah, because they don't have the skill, man. Because look what we go through. You know, they don't want, people like the luxury of like not having to deal with a position overnight. They don't like seeing price action get influenced by world news events and stuff out here. They just, you know, it makes people feel very, very uncomfortable when looking at that. But that's interesting, as at least where we have this gap out here, 3,200 is an next gap. Remember, there are a lot of shorts. I mean, they're definitely piling on now. I can tell you that one much. And now while we're here, let's check out the Bitcoin CME gap. Okay, this is, we'll have a look at this. So this is Bitcoin's price chart. Bitcoin closed 103,300. So it went down as low as around 98. So the Bitcoin CME would be around here. So, but it's going to open around, it's trading like 99,500 around here. Okay, so there is a gap formed as well. There's going to be a gap actually from right here, 102,000, I guess, from the high and low of the day. So then what? You know, sometimes they go up here. Oh no, Iran says it's going to strike again, does a higher low. You know, so you just don't know what it's exactly going to do. But this is like, and by the way, it's the same thing with the trade, by the way. See the CME, liquidity CME gap. So there's been like a liquidity thrust gap up here. You're actually meant to bid, if you do this, okay, if you look at halfway, you're actually meant to be bidding here. Because Bitcoin is actually stronger than Ethereum, right? You're actually meant to be long already. Okay, so you're long already. And then your stop, I guess, would be, they said it's the end of the first or second candle. So here. So I guess you're risking $8,000 of BTC. And I guess if you're going to go for a 2 to 1, you'd be trying to get $16,000, which would be 118,000 up here. Right? So there you go. So that would be the plus 16. Right? So there you go. So, or you're risking like 1 unit to make +2. So there you go. Kind of funny, man. Just interesting how different people see this stuff. By the way, just let you know, there's no secrets with these. There is no secrets. We're just looking at the same. You look at the same market. You're just like using a different language to talk. Okay, that's all it is, right? So, for example, just so you know this, friends, because you're gonna see a lot of new things, and then you learn about it like a new moving average, and you think, oh, the new moving average, this crossover, that's the key to making money, and No, it's not. It's literally all the same shit. Market's going to go from point A to point B. How you dress up the price action indicators. The indicators, they describe the price stuff. Okay, the price moves first. Okay, so don't get like tricked by anyone. So, you know, if you've got like moving averages and stuff out here, there's probably like a moving average right there, right? And like maybe another bigger one right here, right? So maybe there's like a moving average here and a moving average here. And then like if something comes down, right, people will be like, oh, I'm going to just buy the moving average. You know what I mean? And then like, look what ends up happening is if you just, oh, I'm going to buy this moving average, you go, oh yeah, you're literally bidding this exact area, the same area as that liquidity trap trader as well, you know? So what you'll find is as well, so people have their different reasons, right? But you'll find a lot of people like they're long the same stuff, right? They have the same position a lot of the times, like 80 or 90% of the winning traders. Just because, like, you know, all the big Confluence says yes. So the way they look at price action, one guy says it's bullish. One guy uses Fibonacci's, and like, you know, it's like it's broken above the 61.8. So he's looking for longs that day. Other people, or another guy trades off a moving average. He's looking for longs. There's other people who literally go, you know what? I don't look at indicators at all. I just see like war strikes and the fear gauge of everyone going on Twitter. So I'm just going to buy it. You know what I mean? And you'll find everybody who's on the right side, they're usually playing a lot of these moves out here. Not to say you can't make money the other way, but yeah, it's just for your own general knowledge to see that. Now, others BTC is still getting cucked out here. 7 red months in a row, man. What do you do? Yeah, it's all reflected in, you know, because Ethereum has pretty much dunked down to zero already. It's got nothing else, nowhere else to go. But like, you know, it's because it's just so low. It's just all of this pain, I guess, from that is more of your XRPs. It's the Soilanas. So we have a quick look at XRP, what its price action is doing right now. That'll be a nice time to check this out. So XRP is trading under $2. Hopefully this does continue the dream like everything else. We're just waiting. There's a new moon in 2 days, friends. Literally, June 25th is a new moon. Remember, the new moons are bullish, and the full moons are when you're gonna dump. Okay, so the new moons are bullish. Yay, new moon. But I think one of you baby dolls in my Telegram said, "Oh no, there's some sort of like pole thingy, and it's not actually a new moon. This is a full moon disguised." I don't know, bro. It's just, you know, there's a lot of things to take into these. You know, we're just mere mortal humans. This is the US dollar. We're going to have to wait for it to... I think it's gapped up over this weekend, okay? Because you got to wait for these things. Interesting, right? During these times, I think, friends, you got to be bullish on crypto, man, because, like, so many people, like, you have weekend war stuff, you know, and people would just love to trade and gamble on it. Trade, position stuff, currencies. So... there is a need, I don't know why, say Hyperliquid or maybe Bybit's going to do it. They should release ultra high leverage on multiple currencies. They should release cross currencies between Euro, US dollar, the yen, the pound, Aussie dollar. Yeah, so the main currencies as well, just to trade. And it will be very interesting because when we start, I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Guys, if you're listening, I'm giving it, like, you guys should be doing it. Do you understand the advantage you'd have? Because every person, they'll quote their currency off your website, dude, because they've got nowhere else to quote, right? They're like, oh, this thing's trading up or down, right? Now you have to, like, do these, like, weird cross. You know what they're doing now, Saturdays? People are referencing CFD custom markets where they give you, like, basically very wide spreads of oil, and basically CFDs. Like, if you check, friends, like, you know, another thing to look at. See, oil hasn't opened up. But yeah, for oil, 73, like there are some contracts. I think oil has gapped up 8% over this weekend. So oil's at like now 79. But here's the thing. See how oil trades in these 1 cent increments? The bid and offer are like 80 cents wide. 80 cents. So like it's absolutely, like it's literally just redonkulous. Like it's just, that's the weekend trading. So there is a need for liquidity to happen over these weekends because the world's more 24/7 and global. Guess what? Crypto delivers that, man. It's another reason to be bullish on the cryptocurrency industry. Like yet again, another wonderful reason for us to believe that crypto is going to go somewhere. You know what I mean? It doesn't help when you see dog shit like this. You know what I mean? Like this is mantra down, bro. What the hell is this? I mean, like just down, 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 down. I still think, friends, it's a good long. I think it's a good long. Look, here it is. By the way, here it is. It's finally come here as well. It's been a decent long here. So if you wanted to add, you know, I personally haven't touched it just because, you know, there's a lot of opportunity. You're basically like, you know, you're betting on real. It's just like, dude, the thing's dead. You know what I mean? It's literally gone down 97.8% in a straight line. And it's not, I don't think it's gonna, you're not gonna get your whole, you're never gonna say never actually. You never say never, but man, it'd be funny if it did actually do this right? But think about that, man. That's only 15x or 10x, which is still amazing. That is still amazing. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's just you would think you're buying that, because you're getting down something 97%. You know, you want to believe that something breaks the high. But yeah, I'm just showing you there is opportunity in places out here. But yeah, everyone gets, we get worn out because of everything that we've been holding through out here. This is the US bond market, obviously not trading over the weekend. I don't know why, I just got a feeling this is going to be below this now, which means, see, remember friends, this line is exactly pricing in 2 cuts, okay? It just feels like, Trump is going to have his way with naughty Jerome Powell. You've been a naughty boy, Jerome. That's what he's going to do. Probably tell him, major loser. I told you should have cut the rates. That's what it might come down to. Do you remember as well, friends, I covered for you? Let's actually crank it up a bit. Do you remember the US Fed, friends? They sent out their cockroach, Cock Waller. So Waller came out. He goes, you know what? We might actually have to cut rates in July. He actually said that, right? He said that. So, when we're looking at any of these things going forward, a friendly reminder, the US Fed, even if they did cut rates, they're not going to make you feel like you want to go spend money and change the business cycle, okay? That is just part of the phenomena of whatever it is we're dealing with, which is just human psychology. What's it going to take? We can speculate on what it is. I just got a feeling it's got something to do with Elon Musk and AI. I just got a feeling. Elon Musk, friends, I've got more news coming out for you. He's done the RoboTaxi, says he's coming out, and RoboTaxi's here. So we actually checked that out. Might look pretty cool. I guess, it's literally probably just a RoboTaxi. Do you know when, people can do that? Maybe, they, really cut the costs of, just traveling even more. It might be something like that. Well, whatever it is, just inspiring everyone for the future. People doing more robots. Just things where you're just like, wow, new technology. I'm so optimistic for how good the future's going to look. That's bull market stuff, right? Because right now, we don't feel like the future's going to look good at all, right? It's just me telling you this time's not different, and probably, we got to say it, friends. Nothing's going to happen, okay? It's probably like Iran's going to back down and whatever, okay? Let's crack on. So the Ethereum CME Gap is going to be huge, all right? It literally freaking ginormous. And live for you here on the camera Roonies, I've shown you as well, there's just different ways to trade. That is, they're all good longs pretty much here. Where the Ethereum price level, if you were to trade, this is I guess, good risk reward. Also, if you're curious as well, friends, it's funny. If you did see, friends, other people trade off Fibonacci's. If you did a fib from the start to the top, right? Ethereum is right here. So isn't that crazy? Look at this. Ethereum, friends, is literally right on this 61.8% retrace. So it's literally come back. Oh, here's a 61.8 retrace. Is it wild? I've just given you like 3 different styles of trading, and they all have the same long point. And they'd look at markets totally different. And by the way, you can add a 4th one, which is just buying whenever everyone feels fever and stuff on the timeline. That's a qualitative one. You could do that. That's your indicator. If you were to measure the sentiment indicator. That's crazy, man. So that's just markets, right? So are the indicators special? No. It's you're looking for good risk reward points. That's what it comes down to. So that's why, friends, in markets, because you're taking bets, right? It's just it's when you're playing a sport as well. When you're playing a sport, if you're a football player, right, soccer, you can't take a power shot every single move. You got to get closer to the goalkeeper. If you're a basketball player, you can't take a 3-pointer every move. If you're a tennis player, you can't take the power shot every move, or you can't do that little cutter. Little chop chop. You can't do that every single time, right? So it's about it's your risk reward. Yeah, this is the game. Same as markets, though. You can't take a turbo leverage long everywhere. Look at James Wynn. Okay, remember James Wynn? Not only was you if James Wynn wasn't liquidated before, he's liquidated now, right? Because he's just totally wrong about that. Because remember when James Wynn was getting liquidated here, and then he got liquidated up here. That's why, if James Wynn was trading, fans, check this out. If he was if he was just leveraged long on this is a 4-hour chart, just use it. This is like so simple, man. Just like a super trend, dude. This is literally just a super trend, okay? His stop would have just been here. He's like, okay, if the super trend goes out, I'm done. But yeah, but you don't risk your whole account, you know? And then what ends up happening is, so this is where a fake out happens, right? This is a fake out. I don't know if you guys remember, friends, James Wynn was actually short here. He got short, then he flipped to a long up here. Then it just came back down and it rinsed him. Okay, so you know that just you know what to do, friends. You know at this point what we're waiting for. Okay, just this whole gambling on the up and down part. We've already got the highest risk reward, man. You're betting on the business cycle where everyone says it's pretty much game over. So as we know what's happening, Israel and Iran, US airstrikes. They're threatening to do some oil stuff, but Iran is getting dunked on. So the Iranian parliament, friends, they've approved closure of the Strait of Hormuz in response to US airstrikes. So roughly 20% of the world oil supply passes through this. So that was the initial thing, like multiple hours ago. He's like, aha, we're going to go block this off. Okay, but no one's buying it. I think like initially everyone's like, oh no, and then people did the research, and then like I'm just going to let Marco Rubio
to close the Strait of Hormuz to try to disrupt oil transportation across the world?
Well, I encourage the Chinese government in Beijing to call them about that because they heavily depend on the Straits of Hormuz for their oil. If they do that, it'll be another terrible mistake. It's economic suicide for them if they do it. And we retain options to deal with that. But other countries should be looking at that as well. It would hurt other countries' economies a lot worse than ours. It would be, I think, a massive escalation that would merit a response, not just by us, but from others. So, look, they're going to say what they need to say. You know, these are the things that need to happen for their own internal politics and so forth. But in the end, we're going to judge them by the actions that they take moving forward. We had 3 objectives. We struck those 3 objectives with decisive force. And that was the point of this mission. And that's what we achieved. What happens next will depend on what they do. They want to negotiate. We're ready to negotiate. They want to get cute and do things that are dangerous. We have responses available that are devastating.
So I think that's, it's like seeping into everyone like, oh no, they're going to stop the world oil. And then like, China depends on that oil thing too. China's like, friends, China, let's just tell you something. Okay, let's look at, Iran GDP total, okay? Iran's GDP is 400 billion, all right? 400 billion. Now I'm going to show you China. China is 17.8 trillion. Okay. So if we do 4 over 170, you get 2.4%, which is, that's 2.4% is how big Iran is compared to China. Oh my gosh. China is literally 35 times bigger. Okay. Literally 35 times bigger. And that's just China. Okay, that makes it's okay. You could use any analogy in the world you want for that. Like imagine you live in a $35 million mansion, yeah, with your other friends in the street, $20 million mansions, $10 million mansions, and then the guy with a like $400,000 home, the very end of the street, said, "I got a good idea. Let's block off this street." Right, let's have parties and hooligans in here, and let's allow all these drug and street crime. Just because, you know, F the police. Imagine that. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, okay, dude, how much? You know what I mean? Like you in the mansion, whoever's in the mansion, they go, dude, okay, how much are you worth? Okay, sweet. You're on unemployment benefits. All right. Well, you know, I've got like, you know, that's what people will say. You know, we've got multi-decker millions at stake here. We got families. We got stuff. We're not stopping our life because of you, okay? You're literally a nobody, you know? So it's interesting, right? So, you know my words talking about it. The market sniffs this out in prices, right? It's very smart at sniffing this stuff out. Very smart. So, as I said, that was Senator State Marco Rubio. So, pretty much says that'll be a terrible economic mistake. That's why, but oil will still gap up. If you're interested as well, then let's have a look at the oil price. Remember, oil Okay, gapping up through here. That's what it does. It finds like these resistance zones. It comes up here, but then you have like this is the double pump, right? So it's interesting, right? It's gapped up like right here, right on this level. And I won't be surprised, dude, if it just does something like that. Because look at, friends, look what oil does. Look at this. This is liquidity traps everywhere. Like I'm just showing you like right here. It's like, oh, I know where all the stops are. Let's gap right through it. Bang. By the way, it did gap right through it. Look at this. It gapped over a weekend here. So it comes up here and look what it does. It literally gaps up through the weekend. Everyone's got to get out of their stops and then bang, there's a shorts out here. So it's just interesting just how these things work. It just sniffs people out. So here's another one as well. Oh, I know. There's a lot of stops up here. Come out, ping everybody. Remember, this is a day. For the whole day, everyone's got to get out and it comes out. So it's interesting, right? Because you're just looking at squiggly lines on a chart and you think, oh no, the squiggly line looks random. It doesn't look like there's, you know, anything going on there. But you remember, it's players with inside information a lot of the times trading this stuff, you know? So it's reflecting all the information. People who've got the information first, right? And also, even if you ask people individually about what they think about the price, it still do as good as a job as what the actual price is, which is also fantastic to know. So it's a good summary in that regard. The US has called on China to stop Iran from closing the Strait of Hormuz and disrupting global oil flows. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the topical thing out here. Yeah, man. Come on, bro. Come on. What's going on? Come on. Can we just crank it? Can we just please crank it? We'll crank it a bit. All right. So Grant Cardone and his brother Gary Cardone, friends, you know these. They're real estate. They're full like real estate normies. Like, yeah, I'm into real estate. I'm a regular American guy. I want to do my real estate depreciation. You know, for real estate baby dolls. They like look up to Grant. You know, he's a chiseled, handsome. He's probably the jock. You know, he's like, you know, he's always standing at the party and there's always like two girls around him. You know, he's just one of those dudes. Good all-American guy, chiseled. He has added, for his company, they're worth $4.7 billion, the real estate empire. They've added 1,000 Bitcoin. And they said they planned 3,000 more. But yeah, the planning part, hey, I'm buying 1 Bitcoin. I am planning to buy 18.5 million. Okay, just letting you know. That's what I'm planning to do. And they're going to buy more this year. The first real estate firm with a full Bitcoin strategy. So everyone's in, dude. It can't end now. Yeah, just getting started, bro. Look, we haven't got the mania part. The people in now, they think they're visionaries forever, but they're actually just visionaries for the cycle. They're just early in the cycle. They are. You know, if we think about it like that, we know early. So you are still early. Okay, by definition, we're still waiting for the mania. Okay, Coinbase App Store ranking, friends. If I check out Coinbase's App Store ranking right now, I think it's rank 379. Right, 379. So it's funny. I'm seeing the emoji reactions to this, right, in the Telegram. Not my Telegram, another one. And there's the most emojis is the cry face for that Coinbase App Store, and there's a lot of down votes and people upset. Like, no, you should be happy, you idiots. Why are you upset for? This is exactly what you want. Okay, you want the Coinbase App Store ranking to be as far away from high numbers as from good ranks as possible, because it means we're still early, right? That's what you want. But I guess these people don't understand it. Okay. What happened today, friends? Tether has minted 2 billion USDT on Tron. So remember, stablecoin supercycle is still confirming. Interesting. This is this Sol BTC ratio. It's coming out here with this double bottom, but it's the same as everything else out here. But let's have a look at the global liquidity and everything. What's going on? I mean, like, are we meant to go up only soon? I think we're literally just meant to go up only soon. We actually hit this point. Here we go, the end of June. It's kind of funny. And friends, you don't know what's wild, man. I just saw this, friends. This candle is the 25th of June right here. Okay, let's actually get that. Let's get the vertical line. Dude, what are the chances that the global liquidity fractal lands exactly on the new moon day? The new moon is June 25th. What are the chances that, I don't know, but look, it hasn't happened. It's just, let's just leave it there. Let's leave it there. This is Tether, friends. Their Tether market cap, maybe it updates every day or every week or something. So it's at 155 billion. Well, they've just minted another 2 billion on Tron. So maybe it's 157 billion now. So remember all these stable coins and everything out here. Shout out to one of my good friends, 1000X Chris. He actually he used Tron for some stuff. And it's funny, they have like these Dragon Ball Z terms. Like it's called energy instead of like gas. It's just, that's the biggest Asian thing ever. Energy. And he actually said it was shit to use. It's kind of funny. But maybe he's comparing it to like a Soilana or anything out here. Not that Chris is like massive fan of anything, but yeah. So because he's hearing about Tron a lot, he probably thinks it's a lot. He goes like, oh, just like kind of everything else. Yeah, but you know, it's not. It's why it's not about how really good your thing is. It's just Justin Sun. He's been seeing stablecoin supercycle since 2018. He wanted Tron to be a stablecoin chain, even earlier than Richard Hart. Yeah, so Richard Hart visionary. So is Justin Sun. Yeah, Justin Sun only wanted Tron. We have to focus on stablecoins. You have to get the US dollar on. He's very smart. Justin's very smart. Him and Richard are up there. They have very good insights to where the industry is going, and logically, like they can find the logical path faster than the rest of the market, which is interesting because they're called the biggest scammers in crypto. They are called the biggest scammers in crypto. But let's be honest, friends. So let's pretend you got no skin in the game. So if someone was a real visionary, you got to imagine what that means. It means they can see a logical path of how we go from like step 1 to step 10. Right? But you and I can't see that. No one else can see that. So when we go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, back to step 2, back to step 3, 4, 5, 6, back to 5, 4, 3, 2, you know those annoying steps in between. Well, the visionaries, you keep calling them a scam because like you're like, oh, it's not going to the vision, right? But for them, it's so logical and clear. So when they market and they talk to everybody, it sounds so obvious, but it just no one knows the timing of these things. So that's why. Yeah, there's a fine line, right? Like between like this genius and like almost a scammer, because like you just don't know, man. You just like you don't know. But that's why you got to shoot your shot. An Ethereum whale has accumulated $39 million in Ethereum during this sell-off by US airstrikes on Iran. So that's visible on chain. Remember, friends, that's the power of crypto, man. You can see all this stuff transparent, and Ethereum whale buying all this stuff. Like, oh, wars here. Let's accumulate. That's pretty good. And friends, Elon Musk has confirmed Tesla's RoboTaxi to launch in Texas today for a $4.20 flat fee. Here is Elon out there as well. So what we'll do is maybe we'll go to Elon's actual Twitteroonies, and maybe we'll see if Elon has, I think he's made some tweets on the RoboTaxi. So here we have right here. Our second, here it is, the RoboTaxi. So it's just, I guess, the taxi with the robo inside. I mean, yeah, like it's quite anticlimactic because that's actually what robots are, friends. It's just literally like the slight humming noise of anything. And like, because we're imagining Transformers that come out, big shoulder pads, big rocket launcher, big mech warriors. We have 2 robot Godzillas fighting. That's what we like think in our minds is robots of the future. But actually what they are is... yeah, friends, that's pretty much it, you know. So welcome to the future. We're gonna have to make our robo Pokemon one day. They'll make them, okay, right after the sex robots. So yeah, it's almost like the internet. Like when I say internet's gonna change your life, you just put a camera and you watch the video of somebody on the internet all day, and it's just like tick, 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 or just like literally looking at their phone. You don't see anything. So it's kind of funny how it all works. Here we have Elon Musk. Super congratulations to Tesla on the successful RoboTaxi. Okay, both the AI chip and the software teams were built from scratch within Tesla. Remember, trending Fartcoin. That's great. I feel like Fartcoin's a real retailer capturer, you know, a lot of the macro people out there. So, you know, friends, say what we want about Elon. Yeah, he knows about the UFOs. Yeah, he has to lie. Yeah, he's got 14 kids doesn't know about. Probably 15th on the way. We get it. But we got to have pay some respect because see, look at the juxtaposition, friends. You have barbaric 3,000 years old leader who are, you know, zero popularity with their people and, you know, like trying to annex the world to like crank oil up and just piss everyone off up here. And then on the bottom, you have a dude literally building for 3,000 years in the future. You know, building a literally RoboTaxi and release. Hey, it's ready. It's ready. It's kind of like this. It's a nice juxtaposition for our minds because you remember what we're actually living through right now, and it is one of those blips on the chart where we look back in 20 years and go, "Oh yeah, I remember that." That's it. That's what it's going to look like in the future. So the S&P 500 hasn't opened yet. Maybe see because Bitcoin's down 1%. Maybe this thing opens like kind of 1% and it hangs around here. But man, isn't it wild that Trump's tariffs made us do this, and then like a war does that? Isn't that wild? So that's why, friends, I'm telling you that the secret to markets, it's not news, it's how everybody's positioned. All right. Let's see, perfect example. See, this was Trump tariffs. What do you think is more serious? A Trump tariff or a war? Obviously a war, right? But right before Trump tariffs, everybody was positioned for up only. Yeah, so it all had to unwind. Now, nobody's positioned for up only. They're gone. So you'll find the volatility ain't as anywhere near as what you think. You know, see, for instance, so here is lots of weak hands. Weak hands are out. Lots of strong hands. See? What did the market do? Oh, look at this. We actually went nowhere. Think about this. The price has gone nowhere. But in this time, think about what happened. We added weak hands here. Yeah. We let go of the weak hands here and we transferred from weak to strong. And now we've come back up and look what's happened. So the weak hands, friends, look at that. The price has gone nowhere. We've transferred over. That's what markets do. They transfer from the patient, from the impatient to the patient. They transfer from the weak to the strong. They transfer from the soy to the protein. You and I are going to make it. We're going to have to sit on through this war stuff. It'll be over soon. Like, subscribe, catch you in the next one.